All right, we should be straight. So abundance and gratitude to all my people. I ain't gonna be long on this video. I got a couple things to get through, but we still on the same shit. Let's get it. So boom, right here we have humans with animal DNA. Now, for those that already know, you already know these people are unnatural to the planet. But for those who do not know, um, so-called black people, everybody outside of you is unnatural to the planet, and they all share DNA with animals. Now, if you look right here, look, 18% with plants. These are the percentage of genes that you share. This is from 23andMe. So boom, 18% with plants, 26% with yeast, 44% with fruit flies, 98% with the mouse, and 92% with the mouse, and 98% with a chimpanzee, aka a violent animal. Now, we're going to go right here real quick because this even goes into your everyday house cats. 90% with a cat, 60% with bananas, 80% with a cow. They share 80% with the cow. What do we want to eat all day, black people? Burgers, beef tips, ribs, bullshit like that. And they also share 98% of their DNA with the pig as well. So we over here eating bacon, ham, bologna. We're eating all this shit. We don't even understand that we're actually eating these people. And we don't even understand that that has a direct effect on our psychology. This is why we act the way that we act today. We wonder why we wake up and we have these thoughts of wanting to go harm a reflection of us. These niggas want to harm us, and we're eating these motherfuckers, and we're taking on the characteristics of them. This is why we look at each other with hatred. This is why we look at each other like we want to harm. Why we're so mad at our own reflection is because we keep eating these people, and we're actually taking on the psychology of these people because we're eating them. We don't even understand it. These people are unnatural to the planet. They was created. They didn't naturally evolve here. There's no way in hell that, oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. But there's no way in hell that a fruit fly and a cat can come together and have sex to create these motherfuckers. Nor do they have the intelligence to come forth and say, here, I'm gonna give some of my DNA so that we can create these motherfuckers. They're not, somebody took DNA from these motherfuckers right here to create these motherfuckers. And I wouldn't even say the cow, because the cow was that's not an old animal. You feel what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna break it down on how exactly these motherfuckers got on the planet. I'm gonna break that down in a minute. But first, I just want y'all to take a look at this. Take a good look. They told us that these motherfuckers right here were the same as you, black people. They said that we were all 99% the same. They said that we all come from Africa. That's all bullshit, my people. They said that we are all the so-called human race. No, humans relate back to animals. When you look up the definition of a human, it's always going to tie back into an animal. So-called black people, we have 0% of animal DNA. We are not animals. We don't have animal DNA. We don't exhibit any type of animal characteristics naturally. This is why I'm going to go back to when I said when we eat these people, we exhibit the psychological state of these people. This is why we look at each other with such disgust, hatred, animosity, because we keep eating these same people who feel that way about us. And you want to know why they feel that way about us? Because they don't know what the fuck they are. They're so psychologically fucked up because, again, look, all of these different types of fucking animals that is in their genes, they don't know what the fuck they are. So boom, they share most of their DNA with a violent animal, aka the chimpanzee. This nigga is naturally violent. They put that into this motherfucker. Guess what? They're naturally violent. I'm gonna get to that soon. I'm gonna get to what some of their counterparts have did in the past and also are continuing to do today. We see the news with Trump. This nigga went over to Venezuela and snatched the president of Venezuela and his motherfucking wife. These niggas are crashing out. And mind you, this is a political figure. This is somebody with status. Right? This nigga went all the way over there to snatch and say that, oh, nigga, what was it about? Drugs or some shit? I mean, these motherfuckers are crashing out in real time and we don't even understand that. It's because that sun is now white in the sky. It's exuding UVC radiation, which is breaking down their molecular structure. These niggas are being fried on a cellular level. And we're seeing now that it has a direct effect on the brain. But again, I'm gonna get to all that. Let me get over here. So boom. I want to talk a little bit. I ain't gonna go too deep, but I want to talk a little bit about CRISPR-Cas9. This is how your white, Asian, and Arab people came to be, along with your shit like kale, sheep, cows, all them unnatural motherfuckers. This is how this shit got here. Gene editing. So boom. CRISPR-Cas9 is a revolutionary gene editing technology that allows scientists to precisely cut, modify, or replace specific DNA sequences in living organisms. This is how these motherfuckers got here, and because a lot of so-called black people don't even understand what CRISPR is, we're still falling for the, oh, we're all the same. We're all the human race. No, because when you really get into CRISPR-Cas9, this has no effects on so-called black people because again they cannot splice into our cells. Our cells are coated in neuromelanin. So neuromelanin is condensed sunlight and can condense sunlight. This is why they steal your organs amongst, again, I'm gonna get into that, but neuromelanin is one reason why they steal our organs. It's one reason why they sit here and they shoot us up. Cops come out, shoot us up, and I guarantee you most of them bodies have their organs snatched. This is why they snatch our children. Yeah, so CRISPR-Cas9 is how they got onto the planet. And it didn't start with white. A motherfucker didn't just say, okay, here we finna just create white people. No, they had to create small things and gradually get bigger until they got to the so-called human being. So first they had to create, I'm gonna get back to it. It's right here. But first they had to start with a cell, and that cell was the eukaryotic cell. Nobody knows how the fuck the eukaryotic cell got on the planet. That shit has no explanation because it doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But yes, I want to talk a little bit about CRISPR. That's how they got here. So boom. Who am I talking about? These niggas right here. Your so-called white people. Look at this pink skin. Look like a pig, and I don't mean no harm. I'm not trying to be funny or anything. That's porcelain skin. That's pig skin. Pig skin. Look at this. These people look nothing like us for a reason. Look at the animal hair. You see it? Animal hair. You can find all these types of hair on animals, and that's a science. That's a fact. Also, boom, Asian people. These motherfuckers are unnatural to the planet. So these were just the 3 base races that got created. So when you get into, for an example, the Somali people, the Samoans, motherfuckers like that, Hispanics, Mexican people, when you get into them, they all came off of rape or voluntary mixed breeding. So these are the three mains that got created. So you got your Asian people right here. Boom. Again, what do they all share? Animal hair, pink fucking skin. Animal hair, pink fucking skin, because again, they share DNA with these animals. These animals do not produce neuromelanin. This is why they can never look like us. This is why they cannot absorb the sun, because again, they all share DNA with animals. Boom, you get to your Arabs. Again, these motherfuckers are unnatural to the planet. And look, this nigga look just like a white person, don't he? Again, your Arab people are spliced with the same monkey that your white people was. So these motherfuckers right here are spliced with the same monkey that these motherfuckers were. Your Asians, however, was spliced with a different monkey. This is why their eyes look a little bit different. So boom, let's get back to the Arabs. These motherfuckers right here, all three of these main races that were created, guess what they did? They enslaved so-called black people. Every last one of them. We always want to talk about white slavery and American slavery. We always want to talk about that shit. No. All these different types of people right here have enslaved us. And why did they enslave us? Because they are not us. Why would you go enslave somebody that's you? That don't make no sense, right? Why would I look at my own people? You know, that don't... What? That makes no sense. Now, however, we can have the argument with Africans enslaving other Africans, even though it's prisoners of war. Cool. These motherfuckers were eating us. They were raping us, giving us diseases. They had breeding camps. They treated us like literally less than an animal. You don't do that with your own people. We're prisoners of war. You feel what I'm saying? This is why these motherfuckers do. Slaves are merchandise, right? Why in the hell would I burn my merchandise alive? Why would I hang my merchandise for fun? Why would I take the babies of my merchandise, put them in pillowcases, and play hot potato with them? Why would I feed the children of my merchandise? Why would I feed them to alligators? Why would I put my merchandise in zoos as if they were... You feel what I'm saying? It makes no sense. Again, we're prisoners of war. All these people right here have enslaved us and did dark and inhumane things to us. They dark and inhumane things to us. These motherfuckers right here, this is why you see... If you go look at the shit that's happening in Japan, these niggas get an earthquake so frequently, it's crazy. The sun has been eliminating them motherfuckers over there. Again, they not talking about that. We have to start doing our own research. We have to really start looking. We have to really start paying attention to the world, and how, or not even the world, but the earth. We have to start paying attention to Mother Earth and that sun, because they are being wiped out. So-called white people, they are being wiped out. The sun last year wiped out what was it? 1 million of them died from sun cancer. That was last year. This shit keeps increasing because, again, UVC radiation is now ground level. In each passing year, this shit is increasing dramatically. Boom, let me get right here. I want to play a video real quick just to further my point. So, boom.
Like no other. He's taken inspiration from the animal world and claims to be the fastest man on all fours.
Why would you want to do this? We only see animals, so-called black people, we only see animals run and travel on all fours. This is exactly how these niggas came out the caves. When we found these niggas, this is what they were doing in the caves. These niggas was on all fours, hypertrichosis, tails, eating each other, eating animals, having sex with animals, bestiality. This is why you see bestiality is very high amongst their people.
speed in this way.
How do you even...
Wow, that's pretty quick.
So trains in this form for over 6 hours every single day. This is natural to them because, again, they have animal DNA. Let me just move on. So I just wanted to show us, because I showed, these people. Why do we look so distinctively different? We do not look like them at all. We are the most, out of all the so-called groups that they claim are quote unquote humans, we look nothing like them. All of them have those characteristics: the pink skin, the straight hair. You feel what I'm saying? They share a base phenotype. When it comes down to so-called black people, when you look at our base phenotype, we look like literally the cosmos. Look at us. We look exactly like the cosmos. We look like the earth. Like Mother Earth. We like the cosmos. We're literally neuromelanin. We're the sun. We look like the sun and the stars walking in the fucking flesh. That's what we are. The sun and the stars walking in the motherfucking flesh, bro. So when it comes down to neuromelanin, electricity, magnetism, neuromelanin, and sunlight, all of that is the same shit. All of those are the same as that. It's kind of like, for an example, how can I put this? Water. You know how water has your main three forms, right? From water, ice, steam, or however you want to put that. Water, ice, and steam are all the same things. It's the same thing how sunlight, electricity, magnetism, and neuromelanin are all exactly the same thing. That's what we are. We are not like them at all. We are completely different. So boom, I want to get to this. So boom, I want to talk a little bit about King Leopold, right? Some people are familiar, some people aren't. So for those who are not familiar with King Leopold II, this is what this nigga did. This nigga went to the Congo, right? He went to the Congo with all so-called black people was over there. This nigga killed more people than Hitler. He killed more than twice the people Hitler killed. But nobody talks. They even had a literal statue that had to be, they just took the statue down, but they had a literal statue of this nigga. They had a statue of this nigga, bro. They had a statue of this nigga. They say slashed his population by 10. They're saying that this nigga killed 10 million by himself. Some people argue that it was 15 million. Some people argue that it was 10 million. I think it's probably even more than both of those. You got to understand, these unnatural people are the greatest threat to our species. And the reason I say that is because, again, because they have us thinking that we're the same as them, we are now actually doing the work for them. And what I mean by doing the work for them, we literally look at each other as a threat. We don't trust each other. We have no type of love for each other anymore. We abandon our own children. So we have grown adults who are really just grown children, right? Who, because they are indulging in poisons, so your meat, cheese, bread, dairy, candy, what else, all these different things, these chemicals that we rub on the outside of our skin, even down to the clothes, the fabrics that we're wearing. Because we're indulging in all these different types of poison, we're working for these people. So we're keeping the system going for them, for pocket change, when the whole entire planet is ours. We're sending our children to their schools. Mind you, we already abandoned our children and sent their ass to their schools to be indoctrinated by them, and we keep repeating this process and this cycle because we still believe that we're the same as these people when we're not the same as these people at all. So what I want to say is, so-called black people, we have to wake up and we have to study thyself. We have to stop believing in, excuse me, hold on. So we have to stop believing it. My bad. We have to stop believing in that we're the same as these people. We have a completely different lifestyle that we need to be living separate from these people. We actually are sitting here in uplifting artificial shit. This whole entire world is literally artificial, and we don't even understand. We don't realize that shit at all. That's a huge problem. This world runs off of unnatural shit, inorganic shit. As so-called black people, we are the organic mothers and fathers of life. We are the organic people of this planet. We have a biological identification with the planet, with the earth. We don't have a biological identification with Mercedes-Benz. We don't have a biological identification to Nikes. We don't have a biological identification to a motherfucking job. We don't have biological identifications. That's something that they created. And by they, I mean everybody else outside of us. That's something that they created because these niggas didn't have no place within nature. The last time we left these niggas in nature, they were walking on all fours again with vestigial tails, hypertrichosis, and cannibalizing on one another. This is why they created this, and they're harvesting the energy of the so-called black woman so that they can live comfortable, so they can feel like they have a fucking place on this planet. And that's a problem. And it's crazy how we don't realize this. We're literally co-signing their bullshit. We're co-signing a inorganic lifestyle. And we have to stop that. That's the only way that this is going to change, is that we stop that. And we're going to be forced to stop that. Whether we like it or not, shit is finna change. Most motherfuckers already gave up. A lot of older motherfuckers done gave up already. A lot of motherfuckers just gave up and said, okay, bring the slow death. We don't care about the younger generation at all. We don't care about children. We don't care about the future. We only care about ourselves. We're individualist as so-called black people. I don't understand why we don't care. Why are we capitulating to a slow death? Let me move on though. So the black woman is God. So I'm gonna let this video play, and then I'm gonna go ahead and say something.
Now, if you a man and you watching this video and your ego and your pride is hurt, motherfucker, fuck you too. The black woman is God. Until you understand that your relationship in your life is never going to evolve correctly, and you always going to be in an unbalance. Now, before I go into the black woman is God, let me shut your Christianity shit down. It's 2015. Christianity was created in 325 AD. AD does not mean after the death of Jesus. It means after damnation. Because it wasn't until in the AD, because you got BC, which means they say before Christ, but it really means before the Caucasian. Because before 4086 BC, there was no such thing as a white person on the planet. A white person is a defective, mutated germ from an experiment which took place on the island of Patmos from the year 4686. In the year 4086 BC. Boom. That's when a completion was done. So now, in the Bible, it speaks about this experiment in Genesis. If you look up Genesis In the dictionary, it states the origin or production of something. So in Genesis, Jacob, who was really Yakub, because there were no J's back then, just like Jesus' real name was Yeshua, but there were no J's. So now they remixed it up to date and put the J's in there. So now Jacob, when he separated Laban's flock, it tells you right there in Genesis, the creation story right there. If you reread it, I don't feel like grabbing my Bible and reading it, but it tells you he separated the speckled brown and white flocks from the other flocks until they were white and blah, 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 blah. Basically, Yakub manipulated a gene in black people called the OCA2 gene. This gene controls our skin pigmentation, eye pigmentation, hair pigmentation, so on and so forth. And as he manipulated his genes and made us weaker, he destroyed the 48 shades of the black germ. Now, with this germ, you got 16 shades of black, 16 shades of brown. Now we at 32. Then you got another 16 shades of yellow. So you got black man, brown man, yellow man, aka black African, black, me, brown, and then yellow man, like Chinese man and Indian man. Once you destroy all those genes, the gene can no longer reproduce itself and it becomes recessive, aka a white gene. A white person is just a genetic mutated offspring of this gene. Motherfucker, study science and stop trying to argue with me. Now, and this is the secret that the Illuminati and the Masons and all these stupid motherfuckers hide from your ass and won't never teach you. So now, going back to Christianity. White people, as we all know, destroyed Egypt. They destroyed our civilization like they did all of them. And what they did was they went to the pyramids, took the stories that was written in the hieroglyphics and remixed the shit out of them and gave them back to your ass for slavery. Now, black people, you identify with these stories so much because they're your fucking stories. They just perverted. Now, Christianity means crush the unity. Christianity crushed the unity. Crushed the unity of who? The black race. White people were not allowed to come amongst us at fucking all. What did they do to barter their way in our life? They went to Ethiopia with that bullshit ass Bible, gave it to motherfuckers. Motherfuckers accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, which means they accepted that bullshit about, oh, we are equal and blah, 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 and they let these crackers write.
So I just want to speak a little bit about the Bible, Christianity, all that. He's completely right. That's not our shit. That was forced upon us, just like Islam was forced upon us as well. Again, you got to understand all these different religions and teachings that so-called black people are participating in. That their creator, that creator that you're following looks nothing like you. I hope you know that. And the reason it looks nothing like you is because it was created and given to you, forced upon you, when all three of these motherfuckers enslaved you. When all three of these motherfuckers enslaved you and forced all this shit down your fucking throat. That's when you get your modern day Christians, Israelites, Islam's, Nation of Islam ass niggas. That's where you get all that shit from, because it was forced down your fucking throat, bro. This is not our shit. None of that shit is real. Jesus is not coming to save you. God is a fucking crazy man, and we don't. A lot of Christians don't want to accept that God is a fucking crazy, narcissistic, psychopathic nigga that enjoys the torment of black children. Yes, he fucking does. He enjoys the torment of fucking black children, and nobody wants to talk about that though. We want to sit here and blame the devil. We want to blame the white man. We want to blame everybody, but we don't blame ourselves. Now, of course, all of these inorganic people had their motherfucking hand in the pot. Right? They had their hand in the pot, but nigga, we the fucking pot. Do we not? We gotta understand that we're the fucking pot. That's literally what it is. We're the fucking pot. We are upholding. So they got us in a state where we would go and shoot our own motherfucking brother in the face. They got us to that state. We would never do no shit like that. Now they got us in a state where we look at our own brother as a threat and we would go fucking shoot him in the face. And we're upholding that culture. We're upholding this bullshit. Though it's going away because we don't want to kill each other no more. A lot of us are actually waking up. A lot of us are actually waking up. The crime amongst the artificial race, the inorganic eukaryotic species, the crime amongst them has increased a lot. The so-called crime with us so-called black people has been decreasing. We are not looking at each other as a threat anymore because we're understanding that we have been manipulated. We have been played with. We have been lied to. Once we all come in unison and wake up to the biggest lie that we have a inorganic species on the planet that doesn't belong here and who's been playing in our motherfucking face, that's when we could start. We could start there. You feel what I'm saying? But let me see what else you finna say.
No, in the history of any African civilization were they ever conquered by white people without being given that fucking Bible first. That Bible is the root of all evil. And now today in 2015, motherfuckers still accept that retarded ass book, but can't name 10 African queens or kings, but you can sit here and tell me what the fuck David said. Shut the fuck up. Now anyway, boom, going into the black woman is God. Motherfuckers, y'all don't do no research. Y'all don't read no fucking books, but you quick to sit here and try to argue with me about some shit. And I'm spewing scientific fact that these same fucking scientists on TV and NASA fucking astronomers and astronomers will confirm. If you know what anthropology is or you don't, let me tell you real quick. Anthropology, to not dumb it down but keep it on a level where you can understand, is basically the study of human species and evolution over the periods of millions of fucking years. So, white people try to say we came from monkeys. Negative. White people regress to monkeys. The motherfuckers was fucking them dogs in the Caucasus Mountains and created syphilis. And that's where the disease syphilis comes from. It's the only disease that you can get from having a canine. These motherfuckers start getting hairy and growing tails. If you don't believe me, look this shit up. Now, that's why they call it Caucasians, Caucasus Mountains. Cauc means like corpse, death, dead flesh. White people have no melanin. Their flesh is literally dead. Now, the black woman, millions and thousands of years ago, I don't feel like going into specifics, through what you call parthenogenesis. Look it up. Parthenogenesis. Go on Google, hit your voice activator, and say parthenogenesis definition.
And when we even start to get into parthenogenesis, you start to see, because we are prokaryotic entities and all of our information stems from one embryological origin, which is the toe-tipped stem cell of the so-called black woman, you start to understand that prokaryotic entities actually split through binary fusion, which is a asexual reproduction of a cell. So when we get into this right here, parthenogenesis, it starts to make fucking sense, because the so-called black woman is literally doing this shit on a cellular level. You feel what I'm saying? So it gets deep.
Black women, only black women could perform parthenogenesis. What parthenogenesis is, unless you know what mitochondria is within the cells, look that up too, mitochondria. The female mitochondria, unlike male mitochondria, is the only mitochondria that can reproduce itself sexually. Not no hermaphrodite, not no asexual, not none of that shit. Don't get on here talking about, oh, we come from hermap. Shut the fuck up. No, we don't. The female mitochondria is the only mitochondria that can produce itself. The female was able to fertilize herself at one point in time and give life without the help of a male counterpart.
And this is 100% facts. So again, everything that you need to create sperm is within the so-called black woman's body. And again, once she remasters her vessel, once she stops letting an inorganic species evaluate her and tell her what she is and what she can do, once she masters her own vessel again, she will be able to do parthenogenesis again. Again, all of the components are already within her vessel. They're just dormant. She forgot who she was. That's what happened. She forgot exactly who she was. But we're coming into a stage within in this lifetime where she's going to remember who she was. So
look this up. There were all females on the planet at one time. Now, whether you believe in UFOs or whatever, I really don't give a fuck, because it is. Look it up. If you don't believe me, your same U.S. government has a whole Majestic 12 secret group that's specified to deal with extraterrestrial beings. They have Area 51. They have all this shit in your face. So don't argue with me. Argue with the same motherfuckers who deal with these people every day. The number one risk of national security is an alien breach. So why would the government be worried about an alien breach if they felt they wasn't real? Not a Jesus coming back. Jesus coming back is not nowhere on the list of national security. But UFO.
If y'all want to go watch the rest of that video, the brother's Instagram is right here, DivineChosen1_. If you want to watch the rest of that video. But the main point of that was the so-called black woman is God. The XX chromosome was the first chromosome. The X chromosome was the first chromosome on the planet, and that's a female chromosome. It's a complete chromosome. The Y chromosome is a genetic mutation, and that's what the man is a genetic mutation of the so-called woman. I mean, not the so-called woman, the so-called black woman. Black men are a genetic mutation of the so-called black woman. That's what we are. She gave up 2.8% of her genetic material to even create us. And that's how we came to be. Boom. So this is actually called the Darwin Incident, and it is a anime. For all my anime lovers out there, I would urge y'all to watch this. And even if you don't fuck with anime, this has some gems in it. This is literally, they're putting the truth right in our faces, and we're not understanding it because, again, we don't understand ourselves, nor do we understand science. Science is a foundation that so-called black people have to tap back into. We have to start tapping back into science. We have to start being curious, asking questions, and finding the motherfucking answers. So for anybody who fucks with anime, definitely watch this. And even if you don't, try to watch it. You put what I'm saying? Because again, there's a lot of gems in this. This is a new anime that just dropped this year.
No one curious what Charlie and Lucy's child will be like. As per the lore, Charlie was born from a genetic experiment. He has both human and chimpanzee blood, making
He has both human and chimpanzee blood. Ain't that fucking ironic that these niggas literally... Hold on, let's go back to here just for 1 minute. Ain't that about a bitch? They share 98% of their fucking DNA with a chimpanzee. And now they're coming out and telling you. They're literally coming out and telling you this shit is real.
making him a hybrid. And in the later plot of the manga...
If that nigga's a hybrid because he has chimpanzee motherfucking blood... What the... Black people, if this nigga is a hybrid because he has human, quote-unquote human, which, again, we went over human, that's an animal, and goes back, and he has human and chimpanzee blood, what the fuck are these motherfuckers walking around you? We have to start questioning shit. You feel what I'm saying? These niggas exhibit the behaviors of a chimpanzee. They exhibit animal behaviors. They exhibit animal phenotype for a reason, because again, that is what they are made of. That's literally what the fuck they're made of.
Charlie and Lucy developed feelings for each other, and Lucy even became pregnant. As for what kind of species...
And Lucy became pregnant. They're telling you that these motherfuckers... This shit is deeper than you think. You think it's just a monkey nigga and a motherfucking... a human having a motherfucking baby. They're literally telling you how the fuck they came into existence, because again, how is it possible that a chimpanzee could come with a human, quote unquote human, and create another motherfucking species? How's this possible? How's that possible? In the manga, they're already... I ain't looked too much into manga, but this is an interesting show. Again, when they come together and create an offspring, and I'm not talking about the show right now, I'm talking about them. When they come together and create an offspring, it creates what you would call incomplete dominance. And this incomplete dominance is because, again, let's go back to here real quick. 44% fruit fly, 60% fruit fly. Again, the percentages vary because they are not 100% of anything. Because they're not 100% of anything, and they have all these different types of organisms that creates their genes, or that they share genes with. Because they have all these different types of organisms, when you even get down to the eukaryotic cell, which I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Once you get to that, you understand these niggas have all this different information within themselves to construct their actual being. They don't know what they don't even know what the fuck they're creating. They creating something different every single time. I believe the only ones that are the same is probably if they have twins. But again, this is why you see a motherfucker with blonde hair and a motherfucker with brown hair create somebody with motherfucking red hair. That don't make no type of sense whatsoever, because again, they are not the same amongst each other. But let me continue. Hypertrichosis. Oh yeah, again, let me say that anime one more time. If you want to go watch this anime, it is The Darwin Incident. This is an anime. You could probably watch that bitch on Crunchyroll or Free. It don't matter. This is a good anime, and it has some gems up in it. But boom, we go to hypertrichosis. You will never see a so-called black person with hypertrichosis, right? And the reason why you'll never see that, because again, we have no animal DNA. This only happens to people with animal DNA. You can't find one so-called black person with a vestigial tail or hypertrichosis. It's impossible. You're never gonna find that shit. It don't matter how hard you look. Look at this. This nigga look like the Yeti. The nigga look like Chewbacca. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything. Again, this is a problem. And motherfuckers see people like this and they think that these people are fucking black. You think these people are black? Nah, right? Boom. You motherfuckers will see these people that got a little bit of pigmentation, which is just eumelanin, which breaks back down in the field. All that shit is animal melanin. So you see a motherfucker like this, and you believe that these motherfuckers right here are so-called black people. No, that's not the case whatsoever. We have to stop associating. Look, you see, nigga, the same color as my little nephew. But what does that color consist of? What is it made up of? Eumelanin, that's animal DNA right there. So I want to move off this real quick. All right. Prokaryotic versus eukaryotic cells. I'm going to talk a little bit on this real quick. So boom. So-called black people, we are prokaryotic organisms. As I said earlier, we stem from the totipotent stem cell of the so-called black woman. And all other so-called races outside of us, they are eukaryotic cell organisms, which again have no explanation on how the fuck they popped up on the planet. They're trying to give us this bullshit endosymbiosis, saying that one of these, a prokaryote, engulfed another prokaryote, but they can't see that shit happening in nature. They can't see that shit happen. They can see one of these, a eukaryote engulfing a prokaryote, but they can't see a prokaryote engulfing a prokaryote. There's no explanation on how this shit happened. 1.8 billion years ago. There's no explanation. Nobody knows where the fuck it came from, other than one example. And this is when we go back to CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing. Somebody created this shit through electroporation and electrofusion, right? This is how the eukaryotic cell got here, and this was the origin. When you hear Genesis in the Bible, think of eukaryotic cells. That's how the fuck all other races got on the planet. That's their origin. Their origin is electro fucking fusion. They did not naturally occur. With us, we stem from beyond Earth. We biologically identify with the cosmos. When you see that blackness all up in space, that's that dark matter, ether, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's just neuromelanin. Again, when we go back to neuromelanin and all that shit ties back in to what? Stars, planets, all that. We naturally are that so-called black. That's us right there. We're not composed of the same things that these people that are walking around us, we're not composed as the same things as them. But I just wanted to speak on that real quick. They are what you would call a eukaryotic cell organism, which eukaryotic means true nucleus or true seeded nucleus. Depends on what definition they want to give you, meaning that somebody seeded a motherfucking nucleus on the motherfucking planet, because that nucleus is not natural. That nucleus is a communication it's a communication device within them. Let's say that it's a communication device within their ass, so that all these different organisms within their fucking cell can communicate with one another. Because again, you're not gonna a goddamn fruit fly, pigs, cows, chickens, they can't sexually reproduce, nor can they fucking communicate with fucking one another. That's not gonna happen, right? So boom, alright. Totipotent stem cells. This is where so-called black people stem from. And this is what sparked the eukaryotic cell into existence in the first place. This right here, the totipotent stem cell. This is the start of life. This is the so-called black woman. The so-called black woman produces those and she passes it down to her motherfucking children. This is why so-called black children are getting snatched up. This is why black women are getting snatched up. This is why they still are fucking organs in the hospital. This is why they want it. This is why they want your placenta. You ask for your motherfucking placenta, when they take it, all of a sudden they don't want to give you a placenta. And a lot of us so-called black people we believe that it's a money thing. No, that's a cover up. Yes, they do get paid for selling off your body parts, your placenta. Yes, they do. But that's just the surface level of it. Who the fuck is buying them? And why are they buying them? They're buying them because the totipotent fucking stem cells, the neuromelanin that is within your body, that's why the fuck they're taking it. That's nigga. That's it. That's why they want that shit. It's not a money thing. Why the fuck we so focused on the money? Who the fuck we need to be focused on the motherfuckers with money that are buying this shit. This nigga, what's that nigga name? Jacob Rothschild. This nigga is on his 7th motherfucking heart. This nigga I didn't even know this nigga was getting heart transplant. This nigga's on his 7th fucking heart transplant. How is this possible? Because of the so-called black women and children that are going fucking missing. Who the fuck do you think is buying this? There's a reason why we're finding children rolled up in mats. This is why our children are getting snatched. When they're found, their fucking organs are missing. This is why, because they want this. They want life. That's the key to life. That's the start to life right there. Totipotency. That's the start of motherfucking life right there. Do we not understand it? This is why they literally sit here and snatch our babies up. And half of them don't even... We're handing our children to the same motherfuckers that need this totipotency to survive. That's like handing... That's like handing a baby chicken to a motherfucking alligator. That nigga, the alligator need that motherfucker to survive. He want to eat that motherfucker. He want to survive. We're handing our children to the same motherfuckers that need the totipotency to survive, who have shown us nothing but horrendous crimes. They slaughtered us, enslaved us, set us on fire, ate us. They did everything under the motherfucking sun to us, right? I mean, crazy shit that you wouldn't even think of. I mean, it gets so deep, we don't even understand it. All these billionaires, all these motherfuckers out here looking young, alive for over 100 motherfucking years. The King of England, right? The King of England, I'm pretty sure that nigga, how old is he? Like 90 something years old? They're using us to survive. More importantly, they're using our children, aka our future, to survive because they're so full of totipotency. They're using black women to survive because they're so full of totipotency, those totipotent stem cells. And this is the big problem that we're not grasping. We believe these people to be us. They are not us. And the longer that we continue to believe that these people are us and trust them with our children, we will never get out of this hole that we're in. And the crazy thing is, a lot of us don't even understand we're in a hole. We just believe a hole is dark, right? We believe that this darkness that we're in is normal, that it's supposed to be like this. We ain't even touched the surface yet. A lot of us are finally starting to look up in the hole and see the fucking light, with us literally getting back to us, learning thyself. But we need each other to climb out of the hole. That's what we don't understand. We need each other to climb out of this hole. And us climbing out of this hole is learning thyself, learning genetics, getting back to our children. Most importantly, we shouldn't want our children to experience the same shit we experience. We want them to be far greater and far better. And I don't mean by sending their ass to a private school instead of a motherfucking public school. I don't mean to tell them to pay for their college ahead of time. No, I'm talking about learning thyself, teaching them real shit, telling them the motherfucking truth. That's what we need to be doing, telling children the truth and getting back to our children, protecting them from an inorganic species that has no biological identification to this bitch. That can't even explain to you where the fuck they came from. God, that God shit don't work no more. That evolution shit don't work no more. Where the fuck did you come from, and who gave you authority to infringe your ways upon me? Who said that was okay? These niggas was just eating us 100 years ago. All of a sudden, we're taking our children to their fucking doctors, to their schools. That makes no sense, does it? Why the fuck are we doing that? But I want to say this last thing about totipotent stem cells. A totipotent stem cell is a cell that can develop into any new individual cell, meaning that this totipotent stem cell can turn into a heart cell, a cell for the heart, a cell for the brain, a cell for your motherfucking liver. All these different types of cells that's constructed inside of our body all stem from the totipotent stem cell. This is what makes us prokaryotic. We stem, all of those different types of cells stem from one origin. When we get to the eukaryotic cell organism, their shit doesn't, because again, they have all these different organisms that they're constructed of. And these organisms were carefully chosen so that it can interact with this specific motherfucking gene, or the motherfucking pig gene can interact with the motherfucking cow gene somehow, so that it can create new life. So they pick the specific parts that they need from the genes of these different animals and different organisms, so that you can get what you would call a human being today. Your white, Asian, Arab people. Everybody outside the so-called black people. They're running off of the energy of the totipotent stem cell, because that was used to spark their ass into existence. But they don't derive from it like so-called black people do. We derive from the totipotent stem cell. But this is going to be the last video. I just want to play a little bit of this black people before religion and slavery, because a lot of us are stuck on this God character. We stuck on Satan. We stuck on Allah. We stuck on this bullshit. We believe nothing external is gonna save us. But let me play this real quick.
White people said we have to get these niggas from out of tune with nature in order to conquer them. So instead of dealing with the sun, they created the Son of God. Even in the Bible, Psalms 83, I believe, it says, our Lord God is the sun and shield. Look that verse up. It might be Psalms 83. I ain't had to recite it in a minute, but look it up. It says, our Lord God is the sun and shield. Holy in Greek means helios, which means sun. Bible in Greek means biblios, which means book. The Holy Bible is actually about the sun. It's called the sun book. Jesus is the sun, and the 12 disciples are the 12 zodiacs. So what they did was they had to wane black people off the actual sun, okay, and then describe us to a fictitious deity which looked like them. So instead of us acknowledging and living in tune with nature, they forced us to a psyche to where we began to worship spiritually instead of being synchronized with nature spiritually.
Exactly. And that's a humongous problem. We don't even we used to be so tapped in with nature. We knew what everything fucking was. We knew its properties and what it does. We have to tap back into nature. We have to start learning about what is around us now. Because that's what the fuck we're going to in the future. There's not going to be none of this artificial shit. There's not going to be stores. There's not going to be any fucking cars. There's not going to be any motherfucking houses. You feel what I'm saying? Nature is finna clean this bitch up. Mother Earth, she's finna clean this bitch up. And if we don't get with the program and learn about nature around us, interact with our environment, and our environment is not the fucking city. Our environment is those motherfucking trees that we want to pass every day. Our environment is those plants that we pass every day that has healing properties, that's full of antioxidants, that's going to help you, that's going to heal you. You feel what I'm saying? That's the environment. That's the shit right there that we have to get back to.
And the image that they gave us to worship was not only them, but every time you see Jesus Christ, he got the sun behind his head because he's blocking the sun. So black people's path to greatness is that sun. Okay? We have the same biochemical makeup as plants. The only difference in our blood versus, the only difference in our chemical makeup is we have iron in our blood and plants have magnesium.
Absolutely, we have to get back to that sun. That sun is the most powerful energy that in the cosmos. That sun right there is power. That's literally what we're, again, going back to the electricity, magnetism, sunlight, and the neuromelanin. Those are all its condensed form. It's formed just like condensed water is literally ice, and a less condensed version of water is what? Steam. Right? It's the same shit with neuromelanin. We have to get back to the sun. We are literally the sun and the stars walking in the motherfucking flesh, and we don't understand or realize this shit at all. That is us. We are that sun up there. We have to get back to the sun. Not to worship, but to understand that is us, and we pull in energy from it.
Switch the magnesium and iron with black people specifically and plants, we would then turn green and have chlorophyll, and plants will have the neuromelanin that we have. So Venom off Spider-Man, the symbiote suit is actually symbolic to the intellectual properties of neuromelanin that black people possess. Our skin, our body actually has intelligence and is able to actually think and react on its own. That's why we have the best agility, the best reflexes, etc. So you can actually, this is why it's also harder for us to get off drugs. So because when we do drugs, our body actually intellectually internalizes the chemical response.
Absolutely, and that's a fact. And again, drugs ain't what the fuck you think it is. It ain't just your meth, cocaine, crack, weed, heroin. It's not. That's not the only drugs. Your drugs is Skittles, Starburst, Cheetos, Doritos, meat, cheese, bread. That shit right there is drugs too. You gotta enter. Why do you think it's so hard for us to come up off that shit? And then that shit creates parasites within the body that's literally feeding off the same shit that you're putting inside your body, and it crawls up to your motherfucking nervous system, connects to your nervous system, and gives you electrical impulses of, hey, I want that, I need that, I have. And this is where you get your motherfucking cravings from, because you have all these parasites, because you're, again, eating these people. These people are a fucking virus. You're eating that. You're creating literal parasites within your body because you do not understand yourself. That is the realest shit right there. We don't understand ourselves. This is why we still eating rice. All this bullshit that is not good for us. We have a strict diet as prokaryotic organisms, as a neuromelanated being. We have a strict diet. We can't eat that shit. That's why we're hooked on sugar. We're hooked on this shit. This is why we don't see fruit as real food. Motherfuckers don't even think fruit is real food. I used to be one of those people. Motherfuckers would say, oh, I love fruit. But why? How come we barely eat it? I used to be the same way. Barely eating fucking fruit. I love fruit so much, but I would barely fucking eat it. Why? Because I had parasites inside of my motherfucking body, connecting to my motherfucking nervous system, that was giving me electrical impulses, literally messing with my brain, telling me to get this instead of wanting to get, motherfucker want to get fruit. You know what I'm saying? We can want to get that fruit, but we can't, because again, we need to clear these parasites out. Go get you some wormwood. Go get you some cloves. You feel me? Go get you some pumpkin seeds, papaya seeds. Kill these parasites, get them out your body. Deworm yourself. Change your diet. Quit eating. Understand, first learn yourself. Change your diet and get back to you. You know how many people have agreed with me that all these other motherfuckers have animal DNA? The same animals that, you know what I'm saying, that we eat, and they'll still go eat a piece of bacon. They'll still go eat a motherfucking burger. This is why they have no problem feeding you fucking humans, because you already fucking eating humans, so-called black people. You eating the same motherfucking animals that they're constructed with. Change your perspective on it. Learn thyself. Change your perspective on this shit, okay? That's how the fuck we win. That's how we rise. That's how we elevate. Change your perspective by learning what you biologically identify with. I'm only gonna play a little bit more of this video, then I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end this.
And on top of us psychologically being addicted, we become biochemically addicted as well via the melanin, because our bodies are intelligent and think for itself. And if we educate our bodies to crave something, it will then crave that substance. So this is why it's actually biochemically harder for black people to get off drugs. Go look this up. It's facts and the statistics behind everything I'm saying. And so that being said, continuing on, they took Jesus, white Jesus, and they put white Jesus in between you, which is over here, and the sun, which is over here. So Jesus is the character version of sunblock. So you got sunscreen that go on your skin to block out the beautiful rays of the sun. They say harmful, but they're not harmful to us. When they say the rays of the sun is harmful to who? So
absolutely. For all these black people out here saying, we can get skin cancer, the sun hurts, I don't like summer, blah blah blah, shit like that, I'd be too hot. That's because you're chemically imbalanced. You're full of fucking toxins and parasites. And You have a awful fucking diet. You're eating completely against your genetic makeup. That's exactly why the fuck you feel the way you feel about the sun. The sun is not supposed to affect you in a negative manner whatsoever. It never was meant to. Because again, going back to neuromelanin, what is it? Electricity, magnetism, sunlight, and then neuromelanin. That's all you. So how the fuck could that shit harm you? If that is you in a different state of fucking matter, how the fuck can it harm you? But I do gotta go. Abundance and gratitude. My last thing I want to say: get back to children. Learn thyself, not only for you as an individual, but as a collective for your species. I want the children of tomorrow to be better. I want the future to be better. I don't only want adults to be better. I want our children to be better. I want our children to really think for themselves, and I don't want them to have to go through the same shit that I went through. I don't want them to have to go through the same shit that my mother and father went through. I don't want them to go through the same shit that my great grandmother and my grandma. I don't want that. I want to break the cycle. I want children to be better and know themselves. Because I wish I had somebody to tell me about myself. You know how hard it is to be a so-called black person, especially a black fucking child, and go through this fucking world? Do you know how hard that is to be a black child, go through this world, and you feel so out of place, you don't know, but you hear these people telling you lies all day in your soul, aka just your soul, aka you, knows that it's false, but you don't have the words to articulate it, that it's wrong. You don't understand why it feels wrong. That shit is frustrating. And then on top of that, you have the older generation having us go against, basic logic. All these other people outside of us look nothing like us, but they say, oh, we all humans. We all humans. They us. They just look different. We're all the same. But as a child, why do we look different then? Children ask the most beautiful, why we look different then? Oh, no, you can't ask that. No, you can't ask that. What the hell are you talking about? We get defensive. And we want to know why? Because we used to feel the same way as children. Why the fuck do we look different? Boom. We learn genetics. We learn biology, biochemistry. We learn these things so that we can explain why the fuck we look different. And once we truly get into that shit, we understand that we're not the same at all. And to pass that down to children is worth more than gold. So abundance and gratitude, and the video is over.